What's going on, guys? Well, I want to do a flashlight review for you, but this one's a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. This is a headlamp, and you don't see a whole lot of headlamp reviews on my channel because I'm not a fan of them, or at least I can say I used to not be a fan of them. The headlamps that I've used in the past have been extremely beneficial in every single scenario I ever used them, but I just didn't like the idea of having to keep something like this in my pocket and then, or in a bag, and then take it out, put it on my head. I mean, once I have a headlamp on, I'm good to go. Obviously, there's a huge benefit of having a hands-free lighting system. You can do things in the dark, not have to hold your flashlight. You know, in a camping situation, I've used them. Christina owns them, and I find them extremely beneficial. Especially, you know, throughout the night when I'm processing wood and stuff for the fire and doing all kinds of things, preparing our meals, cooking. I mean, yeah, a headlamp is probably your most important piece of gear when you're out there doing camping stuff. But besides that, I don't really use them. I don't use them for work, in a work environment. I don't really use them for recreational purposes. So I kind of wrote them off, and I like my regular flashlights for my bag, for EDC, and I'll take it out, I'll use it for 2 seconds, hold it. You know, it wasn't really an issue holding a flashlight. But recently I've been taking Gus for a lot more walks. And when we go for walks, a lot of times it's around, you know, dinner time. It's either right before dinner or right after. Sometimes it's getting a little bit dark out. And I found myself out there in the pitch black. Now where I live in the woods. There's no street lamps. Most people don't even have their porch light on. So you're on your own. This whole town shuts off at about 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on, it's dead quiet and pitch black. Okay, and there's bear walking around and mountain lions and all kinds of critters and stuff. You know, so I want to be seen. I not only want to see where I'm walking when I'm walking Gus, but also for, you know, the occasional kid flying around in his car, I want to make sure he can see me, and we're very visual to them as well, so we don't get hit. Because walking around here, there's no sidewalks either, so it's a little bit dangerous walking at night. And having a good source of light is very, very important for my situation. So, all that being said, I didn't really use headlamps all that much before. I got this one from Going Gear for testing and for review, and I did decide to do a review on it because I fell in love with it. I can't express how much I like this and how much this has kind of opened up my eyes to trying other headlamps now. This system, when I first got it, it looked pretty complicated. I see a bunch of wires, I see a big heavy box. I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, the headlamps I saw before, it was basically just a strap with a little, you know, LED in it and like a battery pack on the back. So I was a little confused when I first got this thing, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to like this. And I honestly was kind of stubborn about it. I'm like, you know, whatever. And then when I started using it, I really fell in love with it. I use it almost every single time I go out with Gus now for our walks at night. Usually I'll walk in with Christina during the day, but sometimes when she's at work or something, we will go out on our own. So I found this to be extremely, extremely useful. And you'll probably see more headlamp reviews in general in the future, because now I want to try a bunch of them. So anyway, I just want to kind of preface this video with that information. Wasn't a big fan of them in general before, but now obviously I see the benefits of them, and I'm kind of leaning more towards using them in other scenarios. You know, as far as an EDC light, obviously it's not something you're going to carry around with you every day. It's a little bit involved to just throw on to use for 2 seconds. But if you're going to be outdoors for a longer duration of time, the benefits of this particular light, it's called the Wave. It's an H25 is the model, and it's called the Wave because you can wave the light on and off, which is awesome. It's nothing short of awesome. It's a very capable light. But beyond that, this also has the benefit of having a very long runtime. Okay, it has a big 5200 milliamp battery pack. It's a 7.4 volt battery, and one of the biggest benefits to this overall is the fact that it does have a USB port. So you can use this battery pack as an external battery source to charge things by USB. All right, that's awesome. That is a huge selling point for me, is the fact that I can plug my cell phone in here or anything else with a USB plug, and I can use this on its own without the flashlight. I don't even need that as a battery source for emergency backup. So this battery, the charger, and the headlamp are all going to reside in my bob bag, which in the future I will do an update because it's changed quite a bit since I did my last video on it. But you guys will see that in the future. This is a very, very cool thing to have in your emergency kit. All right, not just for having the you know, function of a nice flashlight that's hands-free, but also this battery pack on its own. Like, even if this wasn't a flashlight deal, I might just buy a battery pack like this for an external source of power, you know, given the power goes out or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to show you real quick some of these things so you can get off the table. Just wanted to show you the box and paperwork you get with this. This is how it arrives. It's a fairly larger box. There's a lot going on here. Of course, all the information is all over the box, like most flashlights now. They give you the run times and everything. If you want to pause that, you can. You can read it if you want. But just want to show you that real quick. And also the paperwork is very straightforward, very informative. You can pause here on the light chart. That's also important to understand, you know, what you're really going to expect out of the flashlight. And of course, all the specs and stuff. But basically, there's, I'll pull that up later. There's a charger for here. So it's 3 pieces, right? We have the actual battery pack. That's the battery source or power source for the headlamp. Then you have just the headlamp with a cord that, of course, attaches to the battery pack. And then you have your charger. So most of this wire that's here is the charger. Okay, it's just a wall charger, so this way you can charge up that battery pack, and you don't need to bring it with you, obviously. So here's the 2 main parts to this. Now, the first thing that most people would think, and I know this because it was the first thing that I thought when I got this, was I don't want to deal with wires. You know, I would probably prefer just a regular headlamp with a little battery pack in the back. But honestly, 2 things occurred when I started using this. First, I realized that it's extremely comfortable, that this heavier weight with this big pocket clip was not an issue at all. I clipped this on the inside of my pants, on the off side, because I still do carry. You know, when I'm using this, I'm out and about, especially at night, I'm going to have my gun with me. And even with a full-size pistol, my Glock 36, even though it's a compact, it's a very heavy gun, all things considered. Having this battery pack on my offside was not an issue whatsoever. I was really concerned about the weight on this, pulling my pants down or something, and it held on very, very nicely. It was very snug, and the weight was distributed pretty evenly. And even more so, because I had the gun on the other side, it was distributed better. If you don't carry a gun or a lot of gear on you at all times, you might be a little bit more subjected to the you know, noticing this weight. But because I carry so much gear all the time, it was not an issue whatsoever. If you're someone who literally just carries around maybe like a Bic lighter and your keys, this might be something that you'll notice a lot more than some of the gear people who are carrying, you know, all that weight already. So anyway, yeah, that was not an issue at all. And the other thing was this cord, I just tucked down into the collar of my shirt, ran it down my back, and then popped it out the bottom to plug it into the battery pack. So again, I thought this was going to be in my way. It was going to be cumbersome. I'd have to like reach around. I didn't know what to expect. But honestly, fishing through your shirt, it was not an issue whatsoever. All right, so the setup on here was not a problem at all. The headband was very comfortable. I like the fact that there was just a light on here because you have the other battery source for it. There's no battery pack. The other headlamps I've used before, I always find those to be irritating. The weight that's on either the side or the back of the headlamp, it always wants to pull down on you. It's cumbersome, it's large. You know, I find that this was just a better system overall. Now, because you have a huge battery pack, the cord might be a downside to some people. The weight of the battery pack might be a downside. But to me, it outweighs, you know, having the battery pack on the back. And the benefit from this, and the positive, of course, is your runtime. You have a lot more battery source than you normally would with like a, you know, a AA pack or even like a Sierra 123. So that was a big deal to me. As far as the run times and the modes on this, there are 3 different modes. High is 800 lumens, which is completely awesome. I'll do a separate video in the future, just, you know, giving you a demo on this. But 800 lumens, you get 5 hours of runtime on this battery pack. That's pretty big. Compare that to the run times and outputs on your handheld flashlights. So 8 hours for, 800 lumens for 5 hours. The medium mode is 250 lumens for 12 hours, and the low mode is 35 lumens for 60 hours. All right, so again, 5200 milliamp battery pack that's capable of giving you much longer run times for brighter light outputs, as well as being its own battery source for charging external devices. All right, guys, so let's plug the light in, talk about it a little more, show you the modes here. You'll see that obviously there is a little cord. It's the female part of it, so it just plugs right in here. It's very secure, okay? Snaps in. There's no way it's going to pull off very easily. You do need quite a bit of force to disconnect this. At any point in time, you can push this rubber part. It's actually, there's the button underneath there right next to the USB. And by pushing that, this is going to light up. And this is going to tell you how much power you have left. There's going to be a green light, obviously means we're fully charged here, so it's ready to go. It will go red if you're dying on power. In fact, the instructions show the chart here as to what colors mean what power. So let's see here. Battery indicator is green. Battery capacity is more than 70%. When it's orange, it's 20 to 70%, and when it's red, it's less than 20%, okay? As far as the charging, it takes about 4 hours from dead to completely recharge this, which is not bad at all. All right, let's take a look at this actual headlamp part here. Okay, you can see the cord fishes out the side of it. There are a couple clips on here to adjust the cord so it's not hanging in your face. You can hang this so it's on the back part of your head and then goes down to connect to your battery pack. This does have a tilting feature on it, so you can tilt the thing down. It's up to 55 degrees. All right, if you wanted to, you can wear this basically inverted, so you can tilt this up, because there's going to be an obvious advantage. If you were to be indoors and you wanted to wear this around the house in a power outage, if you tilt your headlamp directly to the ceiling, it'll just be an area light. Whatever room you walk into, it'll light up the room. So that's a big benefit too. But by design, it is only, tilting down, okay? All right, looking closer at the LED and the reflector, you can see it's a very heavily stippled reflector. It's quite shallow and wide, so you do get a really good area light with this. It's not just a focus beam. It is a Cree neutral white colored XML2 LED in there. All right, so pretty cool. Again, to cycle through these different modes, there's a button on top. Just push it once, it'll turn on right to the highest mode, which is 800 lumens. All right, the second mode is 250. The third click is going to get you down to 35 lumens, and then the fourth one will be off. Again, it's called the wave because of this feature. The light is off right now. If I were to have a constant wave across the front of the flashlight, it'll turn on or off. Okay, you just have to keep your hand consistently moving. You don't want to be jerky with it, otherwise it'll do that. It'll turn on and off. All right, if you're obviously too fast, it might not catch that. But basically, there's an IR sensor in there, so obviously when it's dark, when you're going to need the light, it'll still pick up the movement of your hand. You want to keep it just a few inches from the front, not too close, not too far either, somewhere around here. And you can see literally by swiping across, it'll either turn on or turn off. It doesn't matter what direction. Okay, you can go on, off this way, or on, and then off. You can also do up and down. It's just the movement across that sensor that's going to turn this on or off. So anyway, that is just a super, super cool feature. By the way, when I wave this on, it goes to the full 800 lumens. All right, but what you can do is you can turn this to any one of the three modes. Let's say I want to go low, and I can still wave this on and off in the low feature, okay, or low mode. So it's not just for the high mode. It's for any one of the modes you can wave it on and off. It's really interesting because, again, before I knew about this product and used it, I really had no need for it or a want for it. But now that I was exposed to it, I love it. And it kind of piqued my interest in headlamps in general. And I think I will try to get some more headlamps in the future to compare to this. Obviously, the benefits to this is a longer run time, the external battery you can use for charging things. The wave feature is very cool. It is a little bit more expensive. It's $120 for a quality headlamp. That's not much. Look at other high quality flashlights out there. $120 is dropping the bucket compared to some of these things. I see flashlights $500 and up. But it's not going to be for everyone. I think this is better suited for someone who has a need for a flashlight for longer durations of time. For example, if you're going to be outside and you want to, I don't know, walk around your property or whatever for 10 minutes, a $20 or $30 headlamp is not going to be an issue. If you're someone who goes camping once a year, a $20 or $30 headlamp is probably going to be better for you. If you're someone who camps a lot or is outdoors a lot, or like in my case, I'm walking my dog a lot lately because I'm trying to exercise more and get out there in nature, this is definitely beneficial to me and my needs. So it's a little bit more expensive, but I think it is worth the price if you're going to be using this quite often. That's pretty much it, guys. That's my review of the H25 Wave by Olight. Big thank you again to goinggear.com. They sent this to me free of charge to test and review for you guys out there. And had they not, I would never have been exposed to it, and I would never even know it existed. So I do appreciate that a great deal. So anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care.